Hey, good morning. It's Saturday, November 9th, and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. Sorry I wasn't able to be with you yesterday. That's why I always end each video. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow. But we're starting off today with what we're going to do yesterday. We're looking at the third cause of a dysfunctional heart. And I'm not talking about the physical heart, although this very much impacts the physical heart. But the way the Old Testament, the Bible in general, and the Old Testament in particular, describes the heart is that whole inner person that we are. It's everything that we are. That's why the Proverbs tell us to guard our heart, guard everything precious about it, not just our emotions, but everything that we are. And when our heart is dysfunctional, if it's not functioning in a way that is consistent with the way that God runs His world, you and I have problems. So we've been looking at three elements of this dysfunctional heart. The first thing that we looked at is when the percentage of our words, our time is given to speech that is critical, negative, corrective, and not building and encouraging. The second area where we have a dysfunctional heart is when we forget the importance of gratitude. We are fueled by gratitude. Our hearts, our inner being's health is dependent upon gratitude. And then this third area is when our words and our thoughts delve into these realm of things that you and I can't control. Things that are beyond our ability to control. Things like the weather, current events, governments, sports, politics, worrying about the stock market. You know, the economists have this very sophisticated term for trying to figure out the stock market. You know what it is? It's called random walk. The stock market is no more predictable than a drunk person bouncing back and forth between two sides of an alley in their drunken stupor. That's actually an economic term. We think we can be certain, but we can't. Knowing what somebody else's heart, I can't control that. And when my mind is given to these things, I get in trouble. Another area about something I can't control, is especially important in this day and age, is that you and we can't control the days of our life. We act like it, but those things are set by God. Remember what Jesus says in Luke. He says, "Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom, and yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable are you than birds? Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to his life?" Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to your life? Almost everything we do is trying to add hours, diet, and exercise. We should do all those things. But that's not what results in our life being preserved. And then Jesus says in verse 26 of Luke 12, "Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest?" Adding an hour to my life, a little thing? You know, last night on my way home, been driving for a while, just about 10 minutes from the house, someone ran a stop sign right in front of me. And this pickup truck almost ran right into him. God's grace allowed me to stop and brake and move out of the way. My life could have been done right there. We are in God's hands. And notice, Jesus says, if you can't do this very little thing, and yet we spend so much time trying to control things that we have nothing to do with. No ability to control. If we want to have a heart that is functioning well, that's not dysfunctional, but that is able to deal with the issues of this life, we need to put those things aside and focus on the things that God has called us to. I'm going to suggest here that maybe for a while, Read Psalm 100 every morning. This is what will address the issues that you and I can't control. Will bring centering to our life, give us purpose. Listen to what David says here. Shout for joy, for the Lord. Sorry, let me back up. The Holy Spirit titles this a psalm for giving thanks. This was what will center us. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. You see, when I'm focused on things that I can't control, I'm trying to assume God's place. And that's a dangerous place for us. The psalmist is telling us, know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Sheep is not a very glamorous animal, but they are totally dependent upon the shepherd. And when we start stressing about things we can't control, we're worse than sheep. And then he ends the psalm this way. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. Instead of stressing about the things that we cannot control, give thanks to God and praise his name. Why? Verse 5. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever, and his faithfulness endures through all generations. You see how beautiful this is? Instead of minutes, hours, days, ruminating in our minds about things that you and I can't control, think about this psalm. We are God's. We're the sheep of his pasture. He made us. And the love of God endures from now and forevermore. Psalm 100 will center us and keep us from wasting our lives about things that we can't control and having hearts that are dysfunctional. So don't get caught up in stuff that is negative, critical, corrective all the time. Don't lose the significance of Thanksgiving, but center your life around Thanksgiving and praise. And then, don't be focused on the things you can't control. For you are God's. I am God's. We are the sheep of his pasture, and his love endures forever. And that's the thought for this day, and sums up this little 3-part series. Thank you so much for being here, and Lord willing, we'll see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.